Samson's story begins with a miracle. His mother could not have children, but one day an angel appeared to her. The angel said she would have a son, a special son. This son would be a Nazirite. Nazirites were holy men who showed their devotion to God in special ways. They never cut their hair and never drank wine. Samson was to be a Nazirite from birth. He would grow strong, the angel promised, and he would begin to save the Israelites from their enemies, the Philistines. The Philistines were a powerful people who lived in Canaan. The Israelites and Philistines were often at war. The angel's words filled Samson's parents with hope. They eagerly awaited the birth of their son. When Samson was born, they knew he was a gift from God. He would grow up to be a great leader for his people. As Samson grew, so did his strength. It was clear that God was with him. One day, Samson was walking to the town of Timnah. On the way, he met a fierce lion. The lion roared and prepared to attack. Samson was unafraid. He fought the lion with his bare hands and killed it, fulfilling the prophecy of his superhuman strength. Later, Samson returned to the lion's carcass. He saw that bees had built a hive inside. Samson scooped out the honey with his hand and ate it. It was the sweetest honey he had ever tasted. This event foreshadowed Samson's complex relationship with strength and temptation, as he was both incredibly strong and easily tempted by worldly pleasures. Samson's strength made him famous, but it also got him into trouble. One day, Samson fell in love with a Philistine woman. The Philistines were still the Israelites' enemies, but Samson didn't care. He wanted to marry her. At his wedding feast, Samson made a bet with 30 Philistine men. He would give them new clothes if they could solve his riddle. If they couldn't, they would give him clothes. The Philistines agreed. Samson told them his riddle. Out of the eater came something to eat, and out of the strong came something sweet. The Philistines puzzled over the riddle. They couldn't figure it out. Finally, they cheated. They threatened Samson's wife. They told her to trick Samson into telling her the answer. Samson's wife begged him to tell her the answer. In a moment of weakness, he gave in. Samson was furious. He knew he had been tricked. He attacked the Philistines and killed them all. Section 4, A Fatal Attraction. Samson's greatest weakness, however, was his love for women. He fell for a woman named Delilah, who was also a Philistine. The Philistine rulers promised Delilah a fortune if she could discover the secret of Samson's strength. Delilah agreed, driven by greed and the promise of reward. She pretended to love Samson, showering him with affection and plying him with questions about his strength. Samson, blinded by his infatuation, initially resisted her inquiries but eventually succumbed to her charms. He revealed that his strength came from his hair, which had never been cut as a sign of his Nazirite vow. Delilah, seeing her opportunity, betrayed Samson. While he slept, she had his hair shaved off. When Samson awoke, he felt weak for the first time in his life. The Philistines captured him easily, gouged out his eyes, and threw him in prison. Section 5, Samson's Revenge. Blinded and imprisoned, Samson seemed to have reached his lowest point. However, his hair began to grow back, and with it, his strength slowly returned. The Philistines, celebrating their victory, held a great festival in the temple of their god, Dagon. They brought Samson out to mock him in front of the crowd. As Samson stood in the temple, he prayed to God for one last act of strength. God answered his prayer. Samson pushed against the two central pillars that supported the temple with all his might. The temple shook and crumbled, killing Samson and thousands of Philistines. In his death, Samson fulfilled his destiny, delivering a devastating blow to the Philistines and becoming a symbol of both immense strength and the dangers of succumbing to temptation.